This is why the Bible in Ecclesiastes chapter 5, King Solomon teaches us a principle. He says, guard your steps as you go to the house of God and approach to listen rather than to offer the sacrifice of fools, for they do not know that they are doing evil. So Solomon here is teaching us that when we approach God in prayer, we should be more ready to listen to God than to pray to God. Why? So that we don't offer what he calls the sacrifice of fools. The sacrifice of fools is simply foolish prayers. What is a foolish prayer? A foolish prayer is a prayer prayed not in accordance with God's will. That is different from a wise prayer, which is a prayer prayed in accordance with God's will. Because to be wise means to know and apply God's will. Matthew chapter 7 verse 24, Jesus likened a man that listens to his word or applies his word to a wise man that builds his house upon the rock, and the rock is the word. And in Ephesians chapter 5 verse 17, Paul says, do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. That means to be wise is to understand God's will and to apply God's will. So a foolish prayer is a prayer that is prayed not in accordance with God's will. A wise prayer is a prayer prayed in accordance with God's will. And Solomon is saying in Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 1 that to avoid praying foolish prayers, that is prayers that are not prayed in alignment with God's will, be more ready to listen than to speak. Because when you're more ready to listen than to speak, you will receive revelation of God's will concerning what you're praying about.